we live in a world that everybody gets their validation from their career,
Yeah.
you know?
Same time, I've also seen people who have kids who are nowhere near ready to even take care of themselves financially, forget about a whole other human being.
They learned everything from Instagram and social media and
Yeah,
whatever their parents tell them at the house. They got options, you know?
yeah,
And especially women. I mean, women have 10 times more options than men for anything, okay? And if they want something, they can just get it. You know what I mean? Guys have to work hard for it. Girls don't, right? So remember I told you, well, we could talk about it later, but I was very big into we had like an hour conversation about it. It was expectation over speculation,
yeah,
remember?
yeah. That was really good.
Like a whole topic. Yeah, it's a really good topic. I actually ordered a sign for that, right? Ordered it from Temu, okay? And yes, I'm a big Temu guy, right? A lot of people be coming at me, Temu. I don't know. Have you ever used Temu or no?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I feel like it just makes
Okay.
sense, especially for like, I don't know, like little stuff like lights, like stuff like that. Where it's just
There's
like,
nobody who beats Temu in
yeah,
lights. I'm telling you, lights
it
are
makes
the
sense.
best. That's where I got these lights. This thing I would show you. It has an app. It dances. If you put it like you could set it for a dance setting. You could put dude. It has its own timer to turn on and turn off. It has a schedule. You could put Monday turn on at 5 a.m. Tuesday like you could put anything. Like all these lights are like $7, bro.
Yeah,
Like maybe some of them maybe 15. Like my big long strip is like 15 feet. That was like 10, $16, whatever. But dude, you can control all of them on an app. I can change the colors of different ones. Freaking dope, bro. It legit is dope. But anyway, so I got them on Temu, and I didn't get a lot of things here on Temu, but something I did. But anyway, going back to the room, the whole room is to have like a man cave type of like setting. Like you go in here, you can have a deep dive on like like you can picture those cigar lounge rooms, or picture like those I don't know, the bourbon rooms. You know what I mean? You
yeah.
just walk inside. Your boys can come over, and it's gonna be like that too. So I'm gonna have it set up like so when you come over, you hang out. I'm actually getting. You can't see it right now, but I'm getting a big like OLED TV
Nice.
over here.
Yeah,
Yeah, like I was gonna get a regular TV, but because of the dark colors, I need to get an OLED. Like OLED is everybody's like that's the best one. So I don't want it to. If I don't get an OLED, then I get a TV that's gonna be too bright for the dark colors. You know.
That's
So
very true. Yeah,
you know what I mean? And it's like iron ore. So it's like the color of my room, it looks black, but it's actually iron ore, which is like a very deep gray, like a iron color. So it's very manly and rustic and it's legit. This whole space, I do work right from here. And that kind of brings me to the topic of like actually every man should have a space like that. I think it just makes sense. I've
yeah.
always wanted it. Like I had the property before. Do you remember I had a property all the way in you didn't get to go to it, but I had a property all the way in Sebring, Florida, which is like 2 hours away. Okay.
Yeah,
It's like a $20,000 property that like basically had avatar stuff. Remember I told you about that?
yeah.
Had like the lights and I had the avatar set up and I had a whole cave over there. I had a tent. I had a full size house tent. It was like a 300 square foot tent that had like 4 rooms. I had a bed in there. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
That
legit
was like my getaway
glamping.
space. Say
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, like legit glamping. Not just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
camping, but like a glamorous version of it
Oh yeah,
that's
yeah. It was
much
glamping.
nicer.
It
Yeah.
was it was fire. But I think every band should have a space like that. I mean, I know not everybody can, but because of or maybe a corner or whatever it is. But I realistically, like, I needed my own room. Like I needed my own space like this, and uh, I debated it for a little bit, but I'm like, now that I have it, it's like its own studio. It has a kitchen, bathroom. I do my work from home. It's like freaking dope. So
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but
And
I feel like every guy needs their space like that.
it's good to have that separation so that like you could do your work, you could be more focused, it could be separate from like your living space, your hangout space where you hang out with your family or like
Mhm.
you make your meals, you eat so that it's not all commingled together and it's not you don't mix the different versions of yourself that you have. Like the work you can be focused and you could go straight into that because of that environment. Yeah, I like that.
No, it's true. It's true. Especially like me, I have a newborn. You know that. Like these things, newborns only do a couple of things. They pee, poop, and cry a lot. So
Yeah.
that's all they do. and drink a lot of milk. Yeah, lots. Like every second of the day, they're asking for a free nipple that's nearby so that they can suck on. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
to call it, and that's newborn life. But yeah, so like really busy. You know, you'll see when you come to our new place, right? That basically, so where we live in is like a. It used to be a condo. Well, two different condos, and they put both condos together and converted it into like a basically a house type of
Yeah.
thing, right? So when you go to my like when you enter our condo, there's a foyer, like a decent big size foyer where it has everything like the what's it called? The washer, dryer. You can put stuff there, your shoes, coat rack, whatever. And then if you go to the right, that leads to my condo unit, which is here, my office.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And there's another door to enter the other living space,
Yeah.
which has like room and then where everybody else. So it literally feels like I'm in a whole nother place. Like picture you like you need to use your own like I have a key, like an actual like digital key to get into my room. You can't get into our room without a digital key. Both of them.
Yeah.
So so anyway, like I just think like it's good that you have that to have that separated space like that. Because when you don't have that, I feel like I don't know about you, but like for me, if I don't have a space for myself, I can't think straight. I can't like operate the same way. I'm like, I don't care if it's a corner. We used to tell people before, I'm like, even if you can't have a whole room, just have a freaking corner that you can like focus in. Like, okay, I'm sitting in this corner. This corner is where I get my thinking done, my praying done, my, you know, something like that, you know?
Yeah.
You have some set up too, right? You have your
Yeah.
I know your setup's a little bit different.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't have a whole room, but eventually that would be the goal to make a man cave, like you were saying, and kind of have the same thing. I know you were telling me about like the iron color walls, right? But like having, I like that stuff. I like kind of the underbuilt look of things like bricks and that kind of stuff, concrete. It just looks really dope.
Yeah.
Like the goal would
Industrial like
be, yeah, exactly. The goal would be like that. I don't know if you remember like Christian Bale's Batman. You know how he has
yes,
like
yes.
that room of just like white lights at the top, and then it's just like all like concrete, and it just looks dope. And he has like the Batmobile parked there and all this stuff, like a tiny little desk right in the middle of a giant room.
You know, if you go to YouTube a lot, they do that a lot. Like a lot of these, I don't know if you listen to like, focus music and stuff like that. Like I'm
Yeah,
big into that. Like that's all you see on my YouTube feed, like focus music and stuff. And it's always some
it helps.
Lamborghini parked like a desktop, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, that would be
So
really
you
dope.
probably want,
Yeah, 100%. Like the
for
Porsche is
you,
the
it'll be a
goal.
Porsche. Then.
Yeah.
It'll be a Porsche. It's
Yep.
cool Porsche. I know you're big into Porsche, all right? You post about Porsches every day. You got to tell me more about that. Like you told me that like Porsche told you to stop writing to them or something like that.
No, that was for something else.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I do be poking fun at like corporate places. Um, that might have been Oatly. I don't know. I have beef with a few different brands for the fun of it. Um, but Oatly, like, it's not milk. They gotta stop. It is what it is. Nobody's gonna convince me otherwise. And there's some poor intern that just sits there and responds to me. Like every couple of weeks, I just write to them directly, like DM, like, hey, you guys know that it's not milk, right? You gotta stop calling it milk. And they go into like their spiel or whatever, and maybe copy paste the message. But yeah,
Oh, they seriously ran back to you?
yeah, yeah, and they're just wasting time, and I'm just having a good time trying to argue with them that it's not
Yeah.
milk because it's not. But whatever. Um, but no, I absolutely love Porsches. I don't know what it is about it, but like at some point it just hit me. And what I like is RWB, which is Rau Welt something. It's like a German name for a brand that this Japanese dude started. And he
You
basically,
told me about it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So he cuts the cars by hand and basically just like
That's
makes them wider, makes them like more curvy, and the cars just look really dope. And that's what I'm a fan of more than the actual Porsches that come out of Porsche, right? It's more like the modified, the the extra 40, $50,000 that they put on a $200,000 car. Those are the nice ones.
It's like getting a T-shirt in the
Yeah,
car.
yeah, yeah. It's wild. Um, but that's what I like, honestly. And there's just something about Porsche's works of art, in my opinion, and I really like that. But we were talking about the office space, and like I have essentially, like you were saying, like a corner that's my office. That's where I get to focus, and it's really nice to have that space so that whenever I do need to get something done, I could sit down, I could focus, I could really lock in on getting it done versus being distracted by other things. Like half the time, I'll leave my phone across the room, right? If I really need to get things done, if I gotta sit here and I don't know, do some paperwork, right? White collar work. I gotta lock in, send out certificates of insurance and all this stuff, and I gotta really make sure I'm doing the right thing. That's like my procedure. Leave my phone further than I'm willing to just reach over, and then just lock in and focus. Yeah, having that space is super important, and not mixing it with like other things. So that way this could be just the space for that. For me, it's a couple of things, but it's not super mixed, right? Like I don't have a family gathering right here. I'm not hanging out with nobody right here.
Definitely
Yeah,
gonna have to separate that, but it's one of for me. It's a little different only because I have a bigger space.
yeah,
Like definitely, like I think this is my like getaway room,
yeah,
right? I kind of wanted to have multiple purposes. I mean, I don't have any issue with it just being a work center, but realistically, it's not gonna be an entertainment zone. But at the same time, I do want that like setup that when I have people over, if I have anybody over, they can just chill here too. But not for somebody to stay over here.
yeah,
Like, not this won't be the sleepover room. So if you when you guys come, there's a spot up in the main area that you can stay or upstairs. But either way, it's gonna be mainly my work day in the morning from 8 a.m. to like whatever time I'm working. It'll be my work zone, and
yeah,
then it kind of has like that ability to be converted. I'm like, okay, computer screen turns off, and then the big screen turns on, which is like gonna
yeah,
be. I'm getting like a 75-inch like OLED, something crazy.
yeah.
It's gonna be like so
Might
what
as
I'm doing
well.
is that we have like a window, like the square windows, whatever. Windows, yeah. So we're gonna there's like a space in between the windows, like a good 4 inches,
Yeah.
and in those 4 inches, I'm gonna fit the TV like flush into the window area. Does that make sense?
Oh, damn. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So essentially, what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna flush it into the window, and when you open the curtains, because I have black curtains here. I know you can't see because everything's black, right? But if you look right here, you can see the ridges.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
curtain. This is a
Totally. Yeah.
yeah. So I'm gonna open them all, okay, and it's gonna be a cityscape. So picture like you being on the top floor of a high rise, and you open your window,
Yeah.
and you see the city. You look down at the city, you know. So my TV is gonna be that. I'm gonna have my TV set up. I'm gonna probably do some box frame type next level stuff. You know me, I'm super creative when it comes to random stuff like this, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna build that so that when you look out the window, you think you're looking outside a window of like, cityscape. You
Yeah.
get me?
100%. Yeah. That's dope. And it could
I
be
might even
anything. You could literally be
yeah,
looking
yeah, I
out
could be anything.
into like Italy or something. It could be a lake in Italy or whatever, Colombia, whatever you want it to be. Yeah. That's dope.
That's exactly what I'm gonna do. Yeah. And I might even just for the time that because I obviously want to use it to play games or watch movies, but I might even make a frame that like I keep on there and can take off so that it really feels and looks like a window, like maybe like a wooden frame or something that like stays in front of there. And then when I'm done, I just take it off. Does
Yeah.
that make sense?
Yeah. Totally.
Maybe. That's a maybe. That's not a guarantee. Because, if I want it to feel like a window, it has to look like a window. It has to like, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It kind of has to give that mental diversion. Because this is obviously a window, but like it doesn't look into anything. There's nothing. It's whack. So, but yeah, that's the setup I'm gonna have. So I think it'll be legit. Wait till you see the video. It's gonna be like legit. I'm probably gonna get a professional camera to take like a video when I have a setup.
Yeah.
But anyway, this all started with me talking about the world is the expectation over
Oh, yeah.
speculation.
Yeah.
I'm putting a sign It's- I just talk about the whole room, but I just get excited. I talk about the room. I could be here all day. I got everything set up. Everything here was done like with super purpose, right? But that sign is gonna be over here as well. I'm gonna have like have this massive like 16-inch wall, like
Yeah.
sorry, 16-foot wall. Like this thing is it's all the way up there, bro. So I'm gonna have a crazy setup here, but I'm gonna get that expectation over speculation sign. And the reason why I want to have that sign is because I truly believe in that. And for I believe everybody here, I think one of the things we could definitely touch up on is that mindset,
Yeah. No, for
right?
sure. Yeah.
That because I literally and I think I was talking to you about it. Like when you have a lot of changes going on in your life, there's a lot of uncertainty, right?
Yeah.
And most people are scared of that uncertainty. I mean, I get it. I would be scared. Listen, I just moved. I just had a baby, a second baby, and I pivoted and changed careers completely.
Yeah.
Okay. All within the same window of time.
Yeah.
Okay. Like within the same month, roughly. Okay. I would say just one of those is more than enough change for somebody to go crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
And one with the other still holding it together, like, but the reason why is because when you want to drastically move your life forward and it is never going to be comfortable, you know? It's just never going to be comfortable. There's never going to be a day that you're like, you wake up and say, oh, I'm going to make these major changes in my life and I'm going to love it.
Yeah.
Right. Because to you, you're not in my shoes. So to you, it like, or anybody else, it sounds cool. Like, yo, you moved, you changed careers, you had a baby. That's all fantastic stuff. It is fantastic. I'm very excited about all of it. But at the same time, is a lot of fear, a lot of doubt, a lot of, how am I gonna do this? Not even financially, just everything in general. Not everything's not always about finances. It's just about like, how am I gonna live my life now that I've done all these new changes? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
How's that gonna affect my life? You know, two kids is a lot more than one,
Yeah.
it's a lot.
Yeah.
Two kids is more like having seven. It feels like seven.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not like two. It feels like so many more. I don't know. It's weird, right?
I've heard that
Because
before. You, you're not the only one. Like
you had it, right?
it's not twice as much work. It's actually like
It's like
three,
4 or 5
four
times.
times. Yeah, because there's just compounding effects of you just being tired, you doing more things. If you do one thing with one kid, now you have to do it with the other. There's a bunch
It
more
is definitely a
involved.
multiplier. They lied. So anybody who you guys don't have kids yet who's listening to the podcast, one is one kid.
Yeah,
Two is like having four.
yeah,
Okay, just so you know. Three, I don't know how people do it. This is why, like, I was having a conversation with somebody at church, and I was like, we live in a day and age, bro, that like I respect people more who have it together. Like when I see a man, or sorry, a man or woman, a couple, married couple who they have themselves together and they also have like 3, 4 kids.
yeah,
Like I just respect you so much more. Like I look at you like, how do you do that? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
how is that possible? Because I don't care if you're a guy with 7 kids, but you look like a bum. We know you're broke. Your life is all messed up. You just look like you're going through it. You probably have all your kids on EBT, welfare, WIC, Trump's hair, everything. You got it all set up, right? But and there's nothing, that's your situation. That's your situation. Fix it. But the point is that like when you see somebody who got it together, they got it together. Dress sharp, wife looks good, he looks good, the whole family looks nice. You know what I mean? Like, dude, everybody looks good. Like, I'm like, how do you guys do it? What are you doing that you got it all together? They have to have some money. But not just some money. They also have to have like some type of crazy discipline. Because I think to have 3, 4 kids, that's a lot of work.
yeah. No,
It's a lot
definitely.
of work.
And I think what it becomes too, and I've heard this too from other parents who have a lot of kids, is that at a certain point it becomes like a pendulum where when you have like three, four, 5 kids, now it's the other way around. Now it becomes almost easier, because you're doing all these things kind of in tandem, right? So there's like
Mm.
I guess like a sweet spot, right? I don't know what happens after that, right? Because it might swing back to being too much work or whatever. But you're totally
I
right.
was realistically,
Yeah, what were you saying?
yeah, I was realistically thinking that you're gonna have more, you have to be able to afford it properly.
Well, that too. Yeah,
I feel like it's a it's an effect, and I get it. Like we can have a whole talk about this, which I'm down to talk about, right? Because I definitely believe that population is on a decline,
Yeah,
right? Huge decline. Think about baby boomers. You remember like we weren't around at the time, but I'm Spanish, and I don't know if you know, but like almost every Spanish person, like in the 70s, 80s, 90s, they all had like 7 kids, 10 kids. It was like normal, It's like, oh yeah, I got like, where's the baby's crawling on the room and the floor. You don't even know what's going on. Everybody has like 7 kids,
yeah, yeah,
Like, and maybe that's not just Spanish families. I'm sure that was maybe other families too. But obviously, I come from a Hispanic descent. I just know what I've seen. Okay, I can't speak for other people's experience. But almost everybody had so many kids. Now people barely have one, barely have two. You know,
yeah,
two after two, most people are like, dude, I quit. And it's just a domino effect of finances because I'm like, before you can easily feed 7 moms. You can take care of 7 kids with no issue. You can easily 50 cents, you could take care of them for the whole week. Okay. And there was more space, less to do, less things to do, more space. And, people were actually trying to build lives before. They were trying to get their life together, have a lot of kids, build a farm, build a village, whatever it is. And now everybody barely has a kid. Okay. And if
yeah.
not, they're just sharing kids. So the population decline is real. Elon Musk, obviously I follow him a lot. Some people hate on him. Get the freak out of here, man. If you believe him, get the heck off this podcast, bro. I hate people who, oh, he's the richest man. I'm like, dude does more valuable stuff than I've ever seen anybody else do. Like, if you have time to actually hate on him, you are a loser, bro. I'm sorry, right? But anyway, I know I'm at random with this sometimes, but some people just go crazy. I'm like, they hear names and then they can't like handle it. That's what we gotta. I don't think this brotherhood's gonna survive with people who can't handle, you know, hearing some names and not liking people, whatever.
Yeah,
But
it's dumb.
um,
You could learn something from anybody, and especially the person who has probably done the most out of any other human being on this planet. Like it just makes sense. Like duh.
right. Yeah, it's like so. Anyway, I just have to bring that up because I keep on, like I've seen people. They literally post like, I don't know if you've seen this. You probably see this in New York because you're in New York. People be like, they have a Tesla, right? I brought this car before Elon went crazy.
Yeah, yeah,
They have that sign on their car. Like, do you know how dumb you are? Like for doing that? Like, it is so dumb that I almost want to get out the car and be like, "You're an idiot, bro. Like,
yeah,
just sell your car, and stop being a loser." I'm
yeah,
trying to say what? Like, think like I don't know about you, bro, but like that's just the most dumbest thing I've seen. But anyway, getting back to topic. Okay, what was I saying? Elon. Yeah, I was saying something about Elon Musk. What the heck was I saying?
yeah.
What were we talking?
I got distracted by the Elon Musk thing too because I'm listening to a book about him. So I was like, oh shoot, and then it
Oh
went
yeah,
on a
that's
whole
we brought
separate
that up
thing.
to me.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, society. Sorry, Elon Musk was talking about depopulation. Sorry,
Yes.
he was talking
Yes.
about people need to have more babies because the workforce is not going to be able to sustain the amount of people who are becoming old.
Yeah.
Okay, they're not going to be able to sustain it. Okay, because remember, for every one person who's working right now, there is like five, six, 7 people who are retiring at the same time.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Okay?
And because they're not having kids, we just don't have the ability to keep taking care of all these old people. And that's why like all those social programs for older people and retirement funds and all that stuff is slowly starting to crumble is because we're just not catching up in population. And this isn't just Elon Musk. This is like data worldwide.
Oh
It's
yeah.
like over
Yeah.
40 countries are behind on repopulating their population. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like Japan or something, they were paying people to have kids when, like, or
Yeah.
something like that. They're like, "Hey, man, for every kid you get, we give you an extra $5,000 or something crazy like that." I'm like, "That's crazy,"
Yeah.
you know. But it's true because, listen, I totally get it. We live in a modern. What's really the word modern, right? What does modern even mean? Modern today is outdated tomorrow. So modern is there's no such thing as a current modern term. If you really
Mm.
think about that. Somebody in the 70s was saying, look at this modern technology, right?
Yeah.
So modern, there is no, that word almost is like a fake word, I guess. You
Yeah.
get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like
It's a very
modern today's
temporary
work.
concept.
Yes, it's a very temporary concept. Well, at least with the concept of what everybody understands in today's day and age, the way that people think in the 21st century or whatever, the 2026, we live in a world that society and the culture, okay, everybody is for themselves, right?
Yeah.
Everybody like there's just so much to do with so much distraction, with so much going on that you have no time to focus on anything but yourself,
Yeah.
okay? Or whatever distractions that are out there. So the reason why depopulation is so big is because too many distractions, not enough money, not enough need to be a family anymore. It seems too much work, it seems like too much work. And I will tell you as a parent, and you are a parent too, so um, we can both say that having a child is a lot of work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just, it is a lot of work. And I'm not discouraging you from having a child, but I'm saying, but then this is what you hear people say. They say, don't have a child until you're ready, all this stuff like that. You're never going to be ready.
Yeah.
Okay. Never. You're never going to be ready. I meet too many people today that they're so focused on their career, like their career is going to take care of them for the rest of their life. It's not. Your career is temporary. Your career is something that makes you money or whatever it is. And we live in a world that everybody gets their validation from their career, you
Yeah.
know? Like that's their validation. You're like, I'm good at this. I'm good at this. And I don't know if it was like that before, but I feel like because of social media and because of the way the world is now, it is like multiplied. And people just can't take a break mentally from their career to actually like build a family, to do other things, you
Yeah.
know?
So
So
yeah, no, I was gonna say really quickly is because like I think this is very fascinating because this all ties in together. Because like not nowadays especially, it is normal for people to ask, "Oh, what do you do?" to get to know you, right? Instead of actually getting to know who you are, what you do on the side, your hobbies, your likes and dislikes, whatever, like your family, whatever, like things that actually genuinely matter about you as a person, they talk about work. Because now we've been conditioned into working more, and the way economics works out today, and it's not like there's less money, right? It's not like there's less availability, less opportunity, or whatever. It just takes a lot more to earn enough to get the same results that those people did. And I think that affects fertility, and that affects not fertility, but people's willingness to have kids. Right. So it all
that affects
literally ties.
fertility because people's sperm doesn't work properly because it can't think straight.
Yeah, yeah. You're not like
Yeah, that's
literally.
everything. I mean, stress. Listen, believe it or not, stress actually. Sorry, if you look at it, you look it up.
Yeah,
Like a person, if you're smoking and you're bad and you're not in shape and all that stuff like that, it actually affects your sperm. So people don't know that, but it's actually true.
yeah,
So if you're about to have kids, make sure taking care of yourself, to the gym, you're not smoking, you're not doing these bad things. Act like you're pregnant 9 months before you get a woman pregnant, so you can get your life. I mean, your genes and everything working correctly before you try to impregnate a woman. You know, you
yeah,
can just look this stuff up. This is the modern technology, and lets people know. But yeah, you were saying.
yeah. No, no, 100%. Like it all affects. It all combines together. Because like, uh, what I think that people need to develop is like a common sense, and what I mean by that is figuring out the balance of like, yeah, you don't want to have kids until you're ready, but that doesn't mean you just wait forever for perfect circumstances. At some point, you do have to move, right? And at the same time, I've also seen people who have kids who are nowhere near ready to even take care of themselves financially, forget about a whole other human being. And then that's like a very bad situation too, because it doesn't work out for anybody at the end of the day, and everybody gets like a bad start in their life, right? So the common sense is finding that in between, that good balance of acting sooner than you think you should, but also having enough preparedness that you're not just setting yourself up for failure.
Exactly. And you are right because there is no booklet or no
Yeah.
person who can tell you that,
Yeah.
you can't, there is no cookie cutter approach to that,
Yeah.
It's like this, you can't say job's right, family's right, health's right, relationship with wife is right. All right, now kid could be added to the equation, you know? Um, because all those can be right, but then there's another factor that is very wrong and you're not ready, right? There's no age, there's no like, well, obviously there is age, you should be at least, in your early
Yeah.
20s or something.
Yeah.
Or we don't want 14-year-olds out here, having babies is kind of wild.
Yeah.
But anyway, so which does happen, But I mean, you're young, you don't know what you're doing. It happens. We all were young. We've been there. But anyway, there's no right age. But realistically, I believe what would you say is like a good combination, at least so that anybody who's listening to this, who's probably thinking about having kids, maybe, what do you think some of the absolute prerequisites are? At least, like, if you used to give like a small list, like that they can be like, okay, I have all these checked out. I think even though I'm not prepared, I should be good to have a kid. Like, what do you think? I'll see you hear yours and then I'll say.
Mm. That's a really good question. Yeah, because it is multifaceted, right? And like you said, there's no like cookie cutter approach to it. Um, but in my opinion, it is important, right? You should procreate in a way, right? Like half the reason why we're on Earth, like we should procreate. The people who do, at the end of the day, in my opinion, have better lives. From talking to a lot of older family members, friends, whoever, uh, the people who have had kids have had richer lives in terms of just the fruitfulness, right? It's more fun, it's more interesting. Um, and like you said, it is hard. I think one of the biggest things is a certain amount of emotional stability where maybe you don't have everything in handle, right? But you can understand your emotions. You can control yourself a little more. Um, because I think uh, there's a lot of adults that are living with childish emotional control, right? So that the smallest things can set them off. The smallest things become giant irritations, right? And when you have that emotional control, um, your ability to figure things out, right? When a situation pops up with the kid, you'll be able to more likely figure it out instead of wallow in your emotions, right? Whether that's like sadness or you're defeated by the situation or whatever. So I think one of the biggest qualities, in my opinion, is that, right? And I think that anybody should strive for it. It doesn't matter whether you want to have kids or not, but like that is incredibly important when you do have kids. Right? Having that emotional stability and being able to hold yourself accountable to act the right way when you need to. Right? When you're woken up at 4 a.m. to go feed the baby, you're not frustrated, you're not angry. You can hold yourself in check to do what you need to do. Yeah. What about you? What do you think?
That's super important. I was thinking about 'cause the way that I think a little bit more broader level.
Hmm.
That's definitely like one of those. That's a super specific thing for sure. You need that, like,
Yeah.
I'm, dealing with a newborn right now, so I know.
Yeah.
Thankfully, my wife is awesome, and she's a stay at home mom. She's a stay at home mom. Thank God she's been able to be a stay at home mom for literally, well, stay at home wife for like a decade now.
Yeah.
But she hasn't worked in, well, who knows? I don't even remember. But thankfully, I have that. So like, I even have a separate, in our bedroom, we have a separate room. And in the middle of the night, she doesn't wake me up. Like, hey, if the kid's acting crazy, about to act crazy, she goes to the other room, so I don't wake up too. Because I'm not gonna lie, I'm not exactly the most emotionally excited person waking up at 4 in the morning, especially when I get up at 5 something in the morning.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
which I'm probably gonna change. I probably don't wake up at 6 because I'll be waking up at 5:30, and sometimes I'm like, unless I'm in the gym, which there's no freaking gym here that's open that early, I might change my schedule a little bit until I move to somewhere that has like a gym that I can wake up and go to 5 a.m. I'm like driving for 25 minutes to go to the gym at 5 a.m. Like that's just it's stupid.
Yeah.
Like I don't like
At
that.
that point, just wake up
I
at
like working
6.
out.
Right. Like.
Yeah, I want to wake up and go outside, like maybe 5 minutes, like maybe 10, like even 10 minutes, I'd be negative. I'm like, I don't want to go 10 minutes. I'm like, that thing needs to be right there, bro.
Yeah.
Freaking 5 a.m. Anyway, I know it's, and like I said, going back to the topic of being ready for a kid, the number one thing I know, what you said is 100% right, by the way. It's 100% right. You need emotional stability, no question about it. Without emotional stability, having a kid is the dumbest thing. Like, don't even do it. Um, I believe before that, because I'm thinking like from beginning level, like for the first
Mm.
thing that you have to have,
Yeah.
okay, is for me, is that you need to be married.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You need to be married. Like, what are you doing having kids not married? You're having a kid and you're not even committed to the person to be with the kid. And now we have, how many people do you even know who have broken families and
Hmm.
separated parents? And I'm not saying these people are bad people. I'm not saying anything like that, right? All I'm saying is that what you want to build? You want to build a potential broken family child? I'm a broken family child, okay?
Yeah.
I
Same.
was
Yeah.
not raised with my parents. I was not raised with both my parents, or matter of fact, I wasn't raised with any of my parents. I was adopted, okay, into my family's like culture, right? I was still within the family, but I wasn't with my parents at all, zero, okay. So anybody who doesn't know that, now you know, right? I didn't boohoo about it. I think I'm glad it happened. To be honest with you, my family is better, 10 times better than I ever would have wanted. If I was raised with my actual family, which we'll get to that story maybe one day, maybe not, but and my life would be a lot different. Right? I'm thankful to God. That's why I know God is always watching over me, because I look at every step of my life. I'm like, that was God, that was God, that was God. Like all those places, right? Because my life is solid because I was raised with who I was raised with, right? But anyway, I think that's the number one thing. Don't start a family unless you are both together. And you know, I don't control this, and I know it's not like something that anybody's ever gonna 100% gonna follow, but the right ones will. The right ones who do follow this, okay, are the ones who are gonna go far in life, okay. But you, and this is super controversial in today's era, but being a biblical man as much as I can be, not perfect, but at the same time I'm as biblical as I can be. When I make my decisions, anytime I make a decision that is questionable, the first thing that comes to my mind is I'm like, is this right by God? Is this right by Jesus? Is it right by everybody? That's just the way that I think, right? Do you have to think like that? No. Is it hard to think like that? Yes. Listen, do I want to think like that all the time? No. No, I
Yeah.
don't. If it's I'm a man, I'm a human. We are humans. I mean, we could talk about God and stuff all day. We need some direction, dude. Because if we don't have this direction, we will all be all over the place. Everybody, believe it or not, everybody has a set of principles. Everybody has a set of principles. They just choose. The difference between me and a lot of the people is that they choose what their principles are based on how they feel and all this stuff like that. I base my principles based on what's been proven to work for millennia biblically. Okay. That's just the way I choose it. I don't always want to choose that because modern day doesn't make you want to choose that. But anyway, I personally believe, forget about having babies part. You shouldn't even be sleeping together until you're married.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
You shouldn't even be doing that. You shouldn't be having intercourse with a woman that you're not married with yet. Okay. I'm not saying you can't have fun and can't go on dates and can't do your thing and play around, but intercourse is reserved for marriage, right? That's what the Bible says, and there's a reason to it, because you're spiritually connected to the people who you sleep with, and that's a fact. Because I don't care if you slept with one or you slept with 1,000, you will remember every one of them, and they'll still all be in your mind, and they'll pop up in your mind forever until you die. Do you want to think about 75, 100 different people that come continually pop up in your head every year, every couple of days, or whatever it is? You really want that? Do you want to think about another person when you're sleeping with your actual wife, your spouse, right? You're like, oh man, I'm having a good time. But when I was with that other person, it was crazier, right? Do you want that? Well, maybe you do, right? But I don't. I'm trying to say, I don't think anybody who has it together should even be doing that. Then we'll solve that problem. Okay. But the first one I think is you need to be married. That's first. And two, okay, you have to know each other's roles with the child. Okay.
Mm.
That's another one. Because, all right, right now, the baby's a newborn. Okay. Like there's not much I can do. I take care of her, burp her, whatever it is. But when they're a newborn, 90% of for that or more is gonna be my wife because the nurturing, all that stuff, right? They literally just need to be with their mom. Then as they get older, there has to be new conversations about, okay, what's the role with this? Now I have my other daughter who was older, and we have roles. I have roles to do this. They do this with her. She has roles to do that. Okay. So if you have those two things in place, I believe that no matter how many kids you have, you should be able to have it solidified as long as you both know your roles. Because the biggest fights and the biggest fallouts in relationships always happen with kids,
Mm,
almost always, right? Everybody, oh, we're all happy, we love each other, we're getting married, boom, 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 we have kids, boom, boom, and then everything falls apart from there, almost all the time,
yeah,
right? 90% of divorces don't happen before the kids, they happen after the kids, right? And you would think, what did you want to stay together? You have freaking kids together. Like you gotta, they looking at you, bro. Like how you gonna leave, you know? Well, it's because you don't communicate, you
yeah,
don't you don't speak about each other's time. And just throwing it in there before I, pass it over to you is you gotta figure out time for each other. That's the if I'll say the third thing, right? Because I'm like, you need the schedules for them, but you need the schedules for you, right? And I'm like, I'm literally just being totally honest. Me and my wife, okay, try to have conversations on the regular about us, okay, on a weekly basis, bi-weekly basis. Like, hey, you spend a lot of time with the kids, you spend a lot of time with life. We have to have this schedule set up so that you have time for me at this time of the day. You get me? So I'm like, hey, I don't care what you do all day. Do whatever you got to do. But your goal is to have time for me at this time of the day and vice versa.
yeah,
Okay. So I don't care how much you want to work and how much business you got to do. You, Andrew, have to have time for me by
yeah,
this time of the day. And it's not going to be every day. Sometimes it won't, things happen, but it has to happen. I don't care if you have two kids or you have 10, or you have a crazy life or you don't. Because the second you remove that, that's when it gets crazy. That's when, you start resenting each other, you start not taking care of each other, and then your whole agenda is just the kids and the kids and the kids. And next thing you know, 2, 3 months go by, and then you try to sleep together, and then you're like, yo, what the hell happened? Like, why
yeah,
don't we like each other anymore? What's going on? I'm not really into you anymore. And the guy got a job, he's at work, he thinks the girl's cute at work, and he talks to her more than his wife, and that's how he gets in trouble. Or vice versa. The wife goes to her job and she talks to the guy who's not talking about, who she actually sees throughout the day, but she don't see her husband throughout the day. So, like, that's how you get into trouble. But anyway, going back to the topic, that is what I know.
yeah,
It should be the prerequisites before you have a child. Okay.
yeah, 100%. Because I think it avoids a lot of the problems that do come up, right? For a lot of people who didn't work out in a family unit or whatever in a relationship, it's literally because of those things. And if they just took care of that beforehand, right, that commitment between each other, you're totally right. Like that should be like the first thing. That totally makes sense because it takes two to make a kid, right? It takes a whole village to raise that kid, right? And that's not gonna happen if you're not committed to one another, and that just makes sense. But what you're saying is also like it's about setting the right expectations too, like the communication. That's so important in any relationship, but in this one the most, right? Is if you have expectations that you're not voicing, you're basically creating premeditated problems later down the road. So if you have expectations of like, oh yeah, like I need the time to hang out with my spouse, right? But you're not telling them and you're just getting angry because they're not fulfilling that unknown expectation, you're literally just premeditating the problem, right? So you're creating the problem by not communicating. So that's incredibly important is setting that expectation, like you said, setting those roles, knowing what each person will do, and that's just like how a household runs in general. Right? Like me and my fiance, we have roles. We know what to do. We know like who's cooking which day. We know who's going shopping. We know who's taking care of the house. Like all these little things. Instead of wondering or hoping that the other person will get the message by leaving a ton of dishes or something like that, right? You figure that out ahead of time, or you say the expectations. You say, hey, like I expect you to do dishes because I clean the house or something like that, where it's in a respectful way. I think that's
So,
incredibly
so
important.
thankfully,
Yeah, Yeah, it's
It's like,
incredibly important. You know, it's one of those things where communication goes a long way, and that's in any relationship, right? But yeah, no, that's so good, genuinely. Yeah, and I think like all these other things fall into place, right? Being able to afford your kid falls into place if you have the right expectations of each other, right? So that like in your example, right, where you're right now providing for the family, right? That is an expectation your family has of you. But you have that expectation back of your family to also make sure that you are capable of providing, right? You're in the best position possible to make that successful. And yeah, like if somebody's thinking about having kids, definitely should, but have that as a priority, right? That commitment, like you said, so important. Yeah, no, that's so cool. Yeah.
what would you say to somebody like, because I know there's gonna be two different types of people who see this. There's gonna be the first type who's like, great, this is good advice. I'm like on my way there, or
Yeah.
but I'm in a relationship or I'm starting to think about getting in relationships and I'm in my 20s or whatever it is. But then there's the second type of guy, the guy who's felt like he's already too late. He's already in his 30s, mid 30s, you know, hasn't found this right or whatever it is, wants to have kids because all those things are all biological. You're like you're gonna by the time you're 35, 30, if you're any normal person, you're gonna like, yo, should I be starting a family? What should I be doing? What should I do? Right? Uh, what type of advice would you give somebody like that? Like where should they go? Like let's say I want they're young, but they're 30, let's say in their 30s and they want to start a family, but they obviously don't have anything set up. Like what would you say is the move for them to do? Because they're in FOMO. You would
Yeah.
say like
Yeah.
I'm like damn, I feel like I'm too late or whatever it is. Like, I already passed the boat or something like that. So what do I do now? Like I don't know, backtrack and then oh man, I could have had a woman years ago. You know what I mean? Like what would you say to somebody like that? Because that's definitely going to be some people who see this and they think it's too late for them or whatever.
Yeah. I think the advice that you gave last podcast was really good about like creating a good foundation for a relationship. And if you do want to start a family, it's having that foundation very clear, right? Having those expectations very clear.
Okay, so what would you say? Where should they look? Where should they look? Right? If they're looking for a spouse, what would you say? Even though we don't know anything about this, because well,
Yeah,
technically,
I haven't.
where would you say is a good place to start? Like, let's say the guy hasn't found a chicken forever. Where should he even start looking?
I know we spoke about this last podcast too, where like uh
Yeah.
all
Um,
of our friends who are single, who are around this age group, 20, late 20s, 30s, they're struggling to find somebody because it's so hard on the dating market. But I think it's
where are they
very
looking?
where are they looking?
Where do you think they're looking? I mean, like, I don't even know. Like, where are they looking?
They're on
What's this
apps.
market?
They're on apps, right? They're trying all these dating apps. Um, I think more than anything, apps maybe can create those connections that you can potentially develop into a relationship. Um, but I'm not sure if that's the right place. I know for sure not the best place is to go into a bar where everybody's half drunk and maybe not thinking straight. You know what I mean? Because that's not necessarily the greatest environment. Um, but I think social things more than anything, in my opinion. Like if I'm just thinking about this broadly, if I had to redo and had to get into a relationship right now, right? Knock on wood, kind of thing. um, I would definitely look for like social things where I could connect with many different people, right? Friends of friends, that kind of thing, where I'm open, where I think the people that are like that, they're more, maybe they're not hermits, but they are more or less loners. They are more or less um, stuck to their hobbies, right? Maybe they do a lot of things, but they're doing things that are niche. They're stuck at a sports game every other Sunday or something like that, right? And they do things, they're doing social things, but they're not doing things that might connect them to new people like guys maybe that are looking for a woman, right? I think, yeah, I don't know. Like it is a difficult time for dating, and I'm not sure if that's a what's it called, a symptom of like, oh yeah, we have it harder than it used to be kind of thing, or if that's an actual problem, right? Because like a lot of times it's like, oh yeah, like we had it easier back in the day, or we had it harder back in the day. It's just like a saying. It felt like that.
Right. We didn't have 30 apps that have a million plus different people to look at the same time,
Yeah,
right? I have a little bit of a different mindset about it, just a little bit, not too much. But I believe the first place, not even place, the first thing you just like what you mentioned, I believe first of all, you get to know what you like, right? And what you don't
yeah,
like. Okay. So like let's say if you like sports or if you like something that you do consistently, you have to know something you like that it's a positive thing where positive people would be. So let's say if you're a runner, you should join a run club.
yeah,
Okay. If you are if you like reading books, you should be going to library events or book openings or something that has a weekly setup for that. Okay. But you need to find community. In my personal opinion, the first thing you should be doing is finding a community, right? A community of people who are doing something that you like, right? So that the connection is much easier because you're not meshing two different whole worlds together to
yeah,
just enjoy each other for the next hour or 2 hours sitting on a date, right? You should be getting together with somebody who already shares your world, okay? So the conversations flow much easier. So that it's way easier to get to it. Like, I mean, we like anime, like
yeah.
anime is not a big thing for women, but I mean, if you were to start over, how much easier would it be to talk to somebody, a girl who knows anime, like likes anime, knows all the shows you like, dude? It's like be
Yeah.
like night and day, right? So the same idea, it doesn't matter if you're a hermit crab. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, I know you have hermit crabs, right?
No, they passed
They still
now.
got hermit
No,
crabs?
they're gone.
They're gone? No, seriously?
Yeah, one of
What?
them died, the other one ate him, and then the
No,
last one died by
the
himself.
frick happened to your hermit?
I don't know, man.
The last one died alone with death? Oh my god.
Yeah, they have like
That's it.
separation anxiety, and when they're like alone
That's
for
crazy.
too long, yeah, they basically just die of stress. There's nothing you can
No,
do.
I get that. I think a lot of people like that too. They just die of stress if they're by themselves out here, But
Yeah, yeah,
seriously, or they just take their own life, unfortunately, um, but yeah. So I believe like if it doesn't matter if you're like somebody who's very recluse, you just find something that you like doing, and you can be in a community involved in. In a long enough period of time, you're gonna find somebody who is just like you there, who you can start, developing something with. It's an easier barrier to entry than these stupid dating apps, right?
yeah,
I have no idea about any of these dating apps. I've never been on it, never even downloaded any of it on my phone. Because literally, if you go to iPhone, you can see if somebody actually downloaded something before. I'm
yeah,
like, go
yeah,
ahead, check. I have never downloaded any of these things. I don't even know anything about it, right? Because I don't care. I never cared, But the whole point is that I don't think you're gonna really find anything good there, unless there were very specific dating apps like I don't know, Christian Mingles or something like that. I heard of those or whatever. E- Even that, in my opinion, I feel like it's just weird. I feel like this whole app thing is just stupid. Okay. I feel like that's more of a great way to just fill your lust tank than it is to fill your love tank.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
But like, ooh, she's hot. Ooh, ooh. His little, it's just straight dopamine hits.
yeah,
Okay. It's little dopamine hits every time you turn to the next person. And no, and just think about it. How are you gonna feel comfortable in a dating app, meeting somebody in a dating app, knowing that right after you, they already have like 17 other people on the dating app they're talking to, wanting to talk to, already have meetings set up to meet with. Like, how is that even cool?
yeah,
You know? I don't know about you, but I'm like, I would not want to be with somebody who's on a dating app in general. Like, period. Like, because that means that they got options,
yeah,
and especially women. I mean, women have 10 times more options than men for anything. Okay. And if they want something, they can just get it. You know what I mean? Guys have to work hard for it. Girls don't, right? So at least most girls don't, I guess, right? But the point is that, like, you know what I mean? Like She's like, yeah, he's cool. I'm gonna try another one tomorrow. You know what I mean? And tomorrow. What makes you think you're gonna turn that and convert? Come on, let's think about rates, right? Let's talk about business a little bit, right? These are leads, right? These
Yeah.
are leads. Where are you trying to? Are you trying to get exclusive leads, or are you trying to get age-old, used leads that have been ran through over and over again by multiple people in many ways? Okay,
Yeah.
and you want to add that to your exclusive list of people who you want to be your spouse for the rest of your life? Like, is that how you're gonna like? I'm in sales. You know what I mean? I'm not buying the list that has been in business for 7 years and they already have so many people that already ran through.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find the leads, exclusive, nobody's been shared with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get me?
Yeah. 100%.
And in my opinion, this is my opinion, going back to faith, one of the easier places to find people. And it's funny because you found that something that's going to keep you grounded as a family. Because in my personal opinion, without having a church or a setting like that on a weekly basis that can ground the family, bring everybody together, it's very important. It's just a weekly comfort that helps the family grow. It's just that's why everybody who's big that I know does it. Anybody who I'm telling you, everybody who has a good family life, they all have something like that set up. Okay,
Yeah.
church is the best place to do it. If I know a better one, I would tell you. Trust me, I would. But I don't know one, right? It's just you don't even have to be connected. You don't have to be all serious and do things with the church 9 days a week. Okay, like some people are, and some people next level with it. That's fine. If you want to do that, go ahead. I don't care. But the point is that you should at least once a week go there. And I'm telling you, you do that on a consistent basis, you're gonna find a good spouse in the
Yeah.
church who already has the correct foundation because her principles are not made up of random stuff that she found on social media or some stupid guru saying this or some money guy who says this or this other person. You have all the correct principles that have already been correct for the past 2 millenniums. Okay. You don't have to make anything new. They're all there. So they're already embodying that. You are finding somebody who already has all the correct packages to be a spouse that can be a person to have you kids and raise a family with. You get me?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like a
So
like church, in my opinion, is the easiest way to figure out um like a set of values that's going to help you live a better, more fulfilling life, right?
mhm.
For me personally, I don't go to church every week, right? We tune in once in a while online, but we're not like going every week. But I think having one, I went to church throughout all of like school from like 6th grade to like 12th grade or whenever I graduated. Um, I was an altar boy, like the whole nine. Like I was in
Oh, you
the
did the whole thing.
church. Yeah, like
Yeah, I was in you was in a Catholic church though years
yeah,
younger, right?
yeah. So I was like,
Yeah, me too. I was raised Catholic straight up. Is everything.
yeah, like I was in it, and it's funny because like that just made the most sense because I spoke the language. They kind of spoke the language, and like I spoke Russian, um, and it helped me learn English being in that environment because there's like a little bit of a bridge. But the whole church thing was like an easy way to learn and figure out all these good principles that make it easier for you to live a more fulfilling and a better life. Right? Without it, you're just kind of like you said, you're frolicking around and you're kind of picking and choosing. And I'm not saying you have to do everything that like it says in the Bible. You don't have to like word for word kind of thing, right? Like none of it is meant to be treated that way, in my opinion, right? Where like you
It's
believe it
God.
word
It's
for word.
guardrails. It's a guardrail.
Yeah,
Think about it as a
exactly.
guardrail.
Yeah,
It's helping you get a guardrail for life. Most people are not that guardrail because they don't have that. The Bible's a guardrail. You
yeah,
can go like this all over. Like picture bowling.
yeah,
If you put somebody to bowl and they don't have those things up on the side, those guardrails, the bowling ball goes in the gutter 90% of the time when you're new.
yeah.
You don't even have to do that. You could suck at bowling. You could throw it right in the freaking against the wall. You could throw it right to the guardrail and it'll bounce and still knock half the pins down.
Yeah,
That's why the Bible's those guardrails.
yeah.
So
It's the same thing as like anything you want to learn. You want to learn how to I don't know make a better social media post. You go on YouTube and you learn about it. It's the same thing. You're just going to a source that has already been proven. Because if you look at like communities, like at a church, you go to a church and you look at all the people there, everybody is like letting each other out of the parking lot, everybody's nice, everybody's holding the door for each other, right? Everybody's saying hello. If they see somebody new, they're treating them with respect, they're saying hi, they're including them in the community. These are all just like positive things that you could take away from it, right? Where it's really nice to have that. Whereas if you didn't have it, it's really hard to learn that through just living life without like making a ton
Yes,
of mistakes, without going into bad communities. Like you have to see a lot of bad things or negative communities in the way, to then be like, okay, no, I want to live the opposite way around versus just seeing a good example of it and just living with that. Like I think it's a really good overall. Just like it's like a, I don't know, uh, it's the self help books are really nice, right? But you learn like certain concepts from it. This is like a general self help book, right? Where like, yeah, like I don't live what the Bible says word for word, but there's a lot of things that I've taken away from it where I'm implementing it in my daily life, and I think live a better life because of it, right? Whereas if I
exactly.
didn't have it, it would be a much worse life, mentally, physically, spiritually, whatever it is. But yeah, I think
You know,
you're
you're
totally right. Yeah,
yeah. Wrapping this up, I realize it. Like a
yeah.
lot of people just they just try to figure out life without looking at that, and it's just the same way. Like I said, you said it perfectly. Even if don't follow everything perfectly, these guardrails are still there, and they're telling you how to live your life. They're telling you what to do, and it's one of those. That's how you know they're so good. They're so correct. They're meant to be perfect. I mean, if anybody who truly believes it, they know that's God's perfect words. If you look at, I always tell people this: if you follow the Bible to the T, your life is going to be as perfect as a life can actually be.
Hmm.
Okay, that's a fact. Okay, because I promise you, if you look at any area of your life that is not you're not winning in, there's somewhere in the Bible that'll tell you exactly what you did wrong and why you're not winning. I don't care what it is: relationships, money, health, everything. It's all there, bro. It's literally all there. And I know this for a fact because there's so many times I mess up and just like everybody else. And when I look back to it, I'm one of those people who, most people don't do this. And I'm not saying you don't, but most people, they don't like see something bad happen to them in life and be like, how did I cause this to happen? Okay. Right. They always want to blame somebody else, look at somebody else. They can't be intrusive and be like, what did I do wrong to cause this?
Yeah.
Okay. And I always do that because I'm like, if somebody else was the source of my problem, then they are also the solution for my problem, which means that I can't even fix it. They have to fix
Mm-hmm.
it.
Yep. Yep.
That's how you want your life to be. That's a very bad way to period. I don't care what happened to you. Okay. Even if it was a car accident, okay, you can't control that, but you just happen to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. But maybe if you left earlier, did something later, you brushed your teeth faster. I don't know. Always look at every situation in your life as your fault, period. Okay. That's the best way to live. Right. But anyway, the Bible definitely has a lot of that. And I'm not here to make this podcast all biblical. Right. But the whole idea is that that is a good guardrail, you know? And even if you don't want to believe in it, if you're struggling to find a spouse, you still can't figure it out, maybe because those dating apps are not exactly biblical. What do you think? Do
Yeah.
you think they care
Yeah.
about anything like that? Do you think they have any foundation? Okay. Is there any foundation there? I don't think there is. Okay. I don't think there is any foundation whatsoever, unless these are, Christian based apps, I guess. I have no idea. But the point is that that's why you're struggling. And if I was to dig a little deeper and ask you who's listening, do you even read the Bible? Do you even know what's in there? Do you even believe in God? Do you have any of those set up? Do you have any of those set up principles? Okay. Because if you don't, then how the heck are you going to expect to build something when you don't even know what it is you're trying to build? You don't even understand what's the foundational things that you need to have in place to even get ready to build something, right? And just like you said, whether you're a next level believer or half believer or non-believer, all the answers are right there. They tell you how to live your life right. And the last thing I'll say about this, and then we can wrap it up, is, and you can wrap it up, is what you said is so important, right? You was like, I grew up in this world, in this space, going to church and everything like that. And I learned a lot of the correct, things and how to act and everything like that. And how to, have manners and everything in this community of
Yeah,
church, right?
yeah,
And it really made me think. I'm like, bro, seriously, where do you learn this? Like, I'm generally asking, where do you learn this as a child if you're not going to church? Like,
yeah,
where? Like, in society today, where are these kids learning this stuff? If they're not going to a church that is constantly nice gestures, learning positive things, community, churches were back in the day the community that built families. You need a whole family to raise a village, you said, right?
yeah,
Which is
yeah,
true. You
yeah. You need
that's
a
a that's a
village to raise
cliche.
a family. Yeah, the other way around. But
Sorry,
yeah,
sorry.
yeah,
Sorry, you need a village to raise a family. That's the most cliche thing that everybody. It's like something that everybody heard and they know that's true, right?
yeah,
Well, what is that village? What is that village today? What is that? What was that village back then? That village that they meant, they should have changed the word and say you need a church to raise a family. You need something like that because there is no villages today. And Emil, tell me what villages you know are today that people raise their kids. Most people, brother lives here, you know, sister lives in Seattle, mom lives in freaking Washington. I mean, I don't know. They live somewhere else. Everybody's
yeah,
separated. Everybody's scattered. People barely ever see each other. What village do you have? Do you know that people can go to right now that their 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-year-old can start learning community and build a village?
yeah,
That's not a church. What do you know? I actually don't know any right now.
yeah.
Thank you.
No, I think a lot of people struggle to create that kind of community. Whereas, like again, the church is kind of like the cheat code. It's so much easier to just already have a kind of prepared community that's already there instead of you having to create it, instead of you trying to force it, or like you have to become friends of your kids' friends, become friends with the parents, right? Because now you want that community, so now you're forcing it. You're trying really hard versus like it's already there. It's presented for you. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
You get me right?
100%.
And I'm like, I feel like it should be part of the rule book. I'm like, hey, you get a child. If you're gonna have a child, you need to find a church to start taking that child as they're young, so that they can learn manners. Because you know what I see today's day and age, and whether it's ghetto, non-ghetto, or whatever it is, but I seeing a lot of kids growing up, and they just don't even know these basic stuff, basic manners, basic, etiquette, basic gestures, just basic stuff, And I'm like, it's because they never were raised in an environment of people who did that, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, because
So
you could talk about it as much as you want, but half the time for kids especially, it flies in one ear and flies out the other. And maybe they'll say, yeah, 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 they get it right there and then in the moment. But if they never see you actually act it out and you actually um, do these things, right? No matter how much you talk about it, no matter how much you talk about manners, but then the extent of your manners is just between you and your spouse and your household. Like it doesn't land as hard as when you go to a community like a church where you actually apply those manners, right? Where you actually do that, they
mhm.
see you do it, they learn it, and that's again, it's like a cheat code, right? It's so much easier. Yeah,
And I've seen this. I don't know because I like to say you've been, you go sometimes you don't. But if you go consistently, you'll see the kids who are growing up in the church. Just watch the kids who are growing up in a good church, and just see how prepared they are mentally for life. It's an amazing thing. It's like they are so equipped to be ready to start building their life, as opposed to these people who don't, or as opposed to kids who are not raised in a church and they've never been to one. They learned everything from Instagram and social media and
yeah,
whatever their parents tell them at the house, church either, obviously. And then you wonder why there's so many corrupt, broken kids who grow up these days, and they just like they're not going anywhere. Like they're not going anywhere good. And they're distracted. They're just all over the place, and it's because they never had that community. They never had a community. So I'll wrap up with saying, you want to get your life right in general, you got to find a church community. Even if it's just to get just community, get some etiquette, find a right spouse, I think it's a great place to start. Do you
yeah.
want to stay there? You probably will after you know how impactful it is, but if you don't, being there for long enough will give you the right principles to get your life right. Period.
Yeah. Yeah, again, like
There's
even
just no
for a
way
short
around.
time, it does create those guardrails and it's a lot easier to then live a much better life. Yeah, 100%.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
get your guardrails. Go
Yeah, yeah.
find yourself a
And
church.
I think we're gonna keep going and going and going, honestly, especially on this topic. But we'll definitely
Yeah.
do a separate podcast for that. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, yeah, we'll close it out here. You guys know what to do. Click all the buttons, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.
For real. See you guys.